And joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopedics guest line from one of our favorite all-time teams ever, the 93 Phillies, starting pitcher extraordinaire, Mr. Tommy Greene. What's up, Tommy?
Hey, what's happening, brother?
It's great to see you again, man. I appreciate you coming on the show again. And first off, I know you were down there for the clinching game against the Atlanta Braves. Know you were at the stadium. What was that atmosphere like? What was it like to experience that type of energy again?
Well, I tell you what, it brought back a lot of memories of when we were in the playoffs to hear the fans like that, and reminded me of some of the games I was fortunate enough to see back in when I come up and watched the 08, that year, the sellout crowds they had for all those games, but I tell you what, when Rhys Hoskins hit that home run, it's probably the loudest thing I've heard. So I mean, it was just vibrating through the suite where we were. I mean, you could feel it, through your feet.
Our Citizens Bank fan, and I know a lot of them are the same people. I mean, I was a kid in '93, and now as an adult, I get to enjoy the games now. But is the generation of fan different? Are they more intense at CBP, or does like nothing beat the ruckus crowd of a veteran stadium Phillies crowd?
It's hard for me to say that because there's times I'm around it during the course of a game down in the stands, but I wasn't down in the stands when, this past weekend, with those two games. But I got to feel it and see it. And I walk outside in the suite and I look, just to kind of experience that sound out there a little bit. But the passion, I don't call it the ruckus crowd or anything like that, but the passion is a lot the same, I have to say. The crowd, the fans want to see their guys do good, and they want to see them play good, and they sort of expect you to play good, because that's what they're paying to see. They
Sure.
want to see good baseball and good hustle and the effort.
How are we feeling right now about this baseball team? Tied in a game apiece, heading into Philly for the next 3 games. How are you feeling about the Phils right now in this NLCS against the Padres?
I feel good about it. They're in it. They got a chance to win it. Then that's the way I look at it. You got, anybody can be beaten in the series. It's a 7-game series. It's not a short series like it was before, but they got a chance to do some really great things with everybody, say to speak, healthy. Bryce is not able to play the outfield, but that's been the way all year, basically, almost. But they are, they got a chance, just like the other people in the ALCS or San Diego. They got a chance to do things. I feel good about it. They seem to be healthy. Everybody gets nicked up a little bit, and they play a little bit, kind of nicked up. But it's been a long year. It's good to see them doing some positive things. Yeah. Yesterday they lost. They gave up the 4-run lead. But sometimes that stuff happens. The other teams out there trying to do their job too.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a chance to do some great things where nobody thought they even relatively had a shot at one time. So and then people was talking to me over the course of the year. I said, hey man, it's a long year. All it takes is to get in, and with the type of format they're able to play now, what's in place now, you get in, you can do some damage, and that's exactly where they're at. They can do some damage and shock some people, and that's what they've done so far. And so is San Diego. You got in the National League side, you got 2 of the 100-game winners knocked out. And here we are. We're playing for the big spot, to get in the dance, and you got a chance to do it. And all it takes is playing some clean baseball and stuff. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm praying for them to do is play clean baseball, make the routine play, and give them a chance for the guys to swing the bat and get the big hit that counts.
Tommy, I like to compare it to the Braves, the Dodgers, the Mets, the 100-win teams. Those were the teams that, they were the kids that studied real hard all semester. The Phillies got drunk and partied, and then they just showed up and they're like, wait, the finals today? And then they ace that and they make it all the way to the NLCS. Is that a fair comparison, you think?
I don't know if I compare this team to our team back in the day. That was more, we were the gypsy tramps and thieves of the league, and sort of that type of thing. We had a good mix of some great guys, that everybody related to in Philadelphia. We had your clean cut, so to speak, guys that kept their nose cleaned in. You had the other guys that were in between that you didn't know. They might be down the dirt side of it. And then you had your guys that were just dirt dollars at the end. We had a good time and loved to have a pop with the foam on top after the game, and talk baseball. And that was us. We loved the clubhouse. We loved each other, and we loved to play the game hard. And and I guess our team, maybe we had too much fun.
If you could, maybe one or two names is all I'm looking for here. Is there anyone on this current Phillies team that if you could have a time machine, go back to 93? I'm not saying they would play with you because I know you wouldn't replace any of your teammates, but is there anyone that on this current Phillies team that you would say, hey, you know what? Hop into the trainer's room with me and Kruk and Dutch and you can party with us. Is there anyone on this current Phillies team that you could see partying with you guys back in 93?
I mean, the guy that comes to my mind that does that, and I think he would fit right in, would be Schwarber. I think he would be one of those dudes, man. I mean, I think he would be one of those dudes that would fit right down and get down and dirty, a Crucker type, a little bit, I mean,
sure.
I don't know him personally, but what he gives off, and the way he plays and what he does. Not that he hits like Crucky or anything like that. I think Crucky would love to have his power, and I think Schwarber would love to have Crucky's hitability, the way he hits, the way his hitability. Crucky hit 300 for his career,
right.
So they'd be a good mix, though. I mean, I think just the way just watching him, his mannerisms, the way he plays, the physically, the way he is. I mean, he's a stronger, raw bone guy. Sort of fit in right with our guys like Inky and the rest of us. Big, strong dudes, man. And,
he's got that country strength
right in there. Looks like he might have a pop with the foam on top too. That was
there you go. All right, that's a great one. I wouldn't even thought of. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
I haven't seen and thought a lot, but that's the first one that popped in my head. As I'm thinking about the infield, and like Stott reminds me of Stocker. A little.
Oh,
bit.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's that type of thing. But I'm thinking another guy that might go in, even though he's young and just his appearance and stuff, is the center fielder Marsh.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the way, just as the way he carries himself, he's a great athlete, man. And we're just watching him play, the way he moves out there, and he can run and do some things. But his appearance fits right in with the boys, the long hair. Even though we didn't wear the beards nowhere, I mean, I couldn't grow one like that. That dude, I mean, that boy can grow some hair, man.
Yeah, you guys kept him kind of tight. The long in the back with the hair, but the beard was always well kempt. I'll use that term. Tommy, in that fifth inning of game 2, everything just kind of unraveled for Aaron Nola. He gave up the 2 home runs in the bottom of the second inning, and then he had a really struggled a lot in the 5th inning. How would you have handled that situation in terms of he gets Machado out? He strikes Machado out. You got 2 outs in the inning. Then Rob Thompson decides to pull him, goes with Brad Hand, who ends up hitting Cronenworth. I wanted Nola out before he faced Machado. Then he got him out, and I'm like, maybe give him one more. And they decided not to go that route. How hard is that as a pitcher? Is that to manage when you're struggling? You might find your way out, and then you get the big name out like Machado, and then he gets taken out of the game anyway. How do you think that whole situation was managed?
Well, I mean, I thought what he was trying to do, he's playing matchup there a little bit, and judging by the way Nola was throwing a little bit, I mean, obviously he didn't have the command like he's had previously, and you're going to have that. You got to battle your way through things, and I think you're more or less playing the odds right there, bringing Hand in to face the lefty in that situation. I didn't personally see. I was listening to it. I didn't see that bat. But it's just something that I don't think you can fault that too much at that, because you're playing the matchup right there, and he got Machado to big out, and he plays the matchup lefty on lefty, which is what you want to have. Okay. Situation to get out of it.
Okay,
that's what I think about it.
How do you see this series after this right now with the Phillies. When you come out of a game like that where you had the 4-run lead, they chip away, make it 4-2, and then they just jump all over you in the fifth. How do you bounce back from that as a team? I know they did it against the Braves. That wasn't nearly as bad as this, unfortunately, both losses. But after an unraveling like that, how do you bounce back as a team?
Well, I mean, you strike it up as yesterday was yesterday. You learn from, you try not to make the same mistakes over again. I mean, today's a new day, and they've played how many games this year so far? You got to push it back, and you might have won yesterday, but still you got to play the game today. You go out there with the mindset, hey, I'm trying to make the routine play, catch the ball in front of you. If it's hit to me, know where you're going with it. Hey, catch it first, throw it next. That type of thing. And same thing with your at-bats. You got to pick up the pitch. If you pick it up, recognize, put a good swing on it. You can't place the ball out there. You got to put a good swing on it. And, the objective is hit it solid. You hit it solid, I mean, good things can happen. So it's sticking to the basics of what they've done all year, as far as bouncing back is concerned. It's playing clean baseball when they come back, and putting good at-bats together, and getting runners on base and moving them and getting them around. And we've done that a little better, I think, during the postseason. Is playing get him over, get him in type baseball with less than 2 runners on third, less than 2 outs, which I thought we did well. And then that, I think it was the second inning where we score our runs, taking advantage, putting the ball in play. We didn't necessarily smoke balls. I mean, we hit them where they want. We didn't hit them necessarily on the barrel of the bat, but they were base hits, So, I mean, those little things are huge things. We had man on second, third, 1 out. And there's times this year we didn't get them in.
Right.
You get no runs in,
Mm-hmm.
But to get those runs in was a huge thing, and they got to continue doing the positive things each game in that. And then it comes down to pitching and defense. And then and if you get solid pitching, keeps you right there in the ball game. You got a chance to win it. You got a chance to win a ball game with a swing. Put a couple of bats together, and you got a chance to do some positive things.
When it comes to playoff experience, one of the reasons I wanted the Phillies just to make the playoffs, just give me playoff baseball. It wasn't just for my own sheer entertainment, but it was kind of like also the investment. All right, some of the young guys like Stott, Bohm, you're getting that playoff experience. Or even a guy like Rhys Hoskins, Aaron Nola, you're getting that playoff experience right now. How valuable is it? The first time you pitched in the postseason, how much did you use that for the rest of your career and starts after that in the same postseason?
Well, I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, different people handle it different ways, and it's a huge thing for that. Me personally, I dealt with a lot of arm injuries and stuff after mine. I was hoping for another chance at it, but that's just what happens. For as far as that's concerned, but it's something that you can build upon. And as a kid and as a young man coming through the system, your dream is to make it to the big leagues. And then once you get there, is to put your starter and your starting pitcher or whatever you are is to put in a consistent effort and start, every time you go out, that's your objective. And your goal is to win and get in. I know our goal back in the day, we had to win. We were the last team. I think you had to win straight out. You had to win your division to get in, because the next year was the lockout year or the strike year. We didn't have the postseason. Then the next year was the wild card. Everything started changing, as far as getting in type things. So the big thing is getting in into the postseason and having that opportunity. So now they got some experience, the how it feels in front of that type of crowd and the stage. Each little level is a little bit different, I think. I think I haven't been on their stage, because they went through the division series and that type of thing, the wild card division series, to get in and to get where they're at. So it's like an escalation of, sort of the stage, because you win this stage, it's more serious. It's just a little bit bigger. It's about how you handle the pressure on that, and everybody's a little bit different. So it's about storing that and using it in a positive manner.
I have to tell you this. You mentioned you mentioned the strike in '94. I have to pass this along. Not to play this card, but I was in 6th grade.
All right, that's enough of that already. Yeah.
No, but I remember.
Okay, I'm old. I'm old now. You know that, right?
I remember that. I'll just say I was in school. Okay, I was in school, And Sister Thomas Ann at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Doylestown said there's one good thing about the strike. And I looked at her, and I'm the biggest baseball fan in the world. I'm a kid, And I said, Sister, what could that be? And she goes, the Phillies are still National League champions. And I went, wow.
That's nobody looked at it that way. I don't even think I did, but hey, that's a good way to look at it.
Exactly. There you go. And one last thing.
You had 2 full years, basically.
You guys had a great run. It was 3 years. When it came, I got to run this by you because I know the Darren Dalton Foundation is a wonderful foundation, and you guys, you guys are teammates forever. That 93 team, and anyone who's teammate with Darren Dalton, you guys are teammates forever. Yeah. And I know you guys are always active. You're always supporting one another. It's a beautiful thing. I think it was the second to last game of the season. Dave Dombrowski was in the booth, he was a guest in the booth with Tom McCarthy and Ruben. And he's sitting there and he was asked about the leadership of Kyle Schwarber. And he said the only person that he could liken it to, and he was really thinking about it, was when he was the Marlins general manager and traded in 1997 for Darren Dalton. And he said the respect Darren Dalton had in the clubhouse was unmatched. But the closest thing that he has seen to it since then is Kyle Schwarber. I heard that, and I think that's the greatest compliment you can give any clubhouse presence, regardless of how many home runs the guy's hitting. Oh, yeah. To me, that sounds like the highest praise you can give someone.
There's no doubt about that. For that to come from, especially Dave, to give a compliment like that to Kyle, he should be a proud man, to be put in that class as far as a leader, as far as Darren's concerned, because there was nobody better, just like, Harry, always said about Dutch, the way he looked at it, as far as him being the leader of that club, as far as, Harry thought the world of Darren, not just that, always the famous statement, he was a man's man, he was a great teammate, but he was a woman's dream too. So it was that type of, Darren had a total package, he's the total guy, but that type of compliment, I'd be a very proud man if I was Kyle on that one, because that's some high praise right there, because Darren, he earned that respect, and he deserved that respect for what all he went through and the way he handled and treated people. It was unmatched, I think, because he was so easy to talk to. He wasn't like a presence you couldn't approach. You felt like you felt welcomed, because when he saw you, he gave you a hug, and a kiss type thing on your cheek. Mm-hmm. That's what I miss about him. I miss that smile. I missed it when he saw you. He was a very passionate and caring person, but he was a leader, and he got on you when he needed to get on you. If you're doing things or playing, or you had your head up your rear, he could put it even further up there. He could be, he was one of those dudes. He could take you down a notch, and on the other hand, he could pat you on the back and tell you when you did something good, and just give you that look. And that was high praise. He was the leader. He was, that's the way we looked at him. And I'm hoping Kyle is that type of dude. I haven't been around him, but him to get that praise from Dave, Dombrowski, obviously Dave got to know him a little bit because he was with Florida. Probably one of the main reasons I think he got him over there was the type of person, probably clubhouse presence in that clubhouse with the stars they had on that team in '97. They needed somebody like Darren in that clubhouse. So, which is a great thing. That might have been one of the things that helped him get over the hump.
I would absolutely think so. I only had maybe 1 or 2 run-ins with Darren Dalton, but I'll tell you this: talking to him, he made me feel like I knew him for 20 years. Yes. Like the way he just awesome. Very rarely do your heroes live up to the expectation, and he surpassed it. No question. Tommy Greene, great catching up with you, man, and great to reminisce and talk about 93 and, of course, this current Phillies team and what they need to do to get past this Padres team. Tommy Greene, ladies and gentlemen. Tommy, thanks so much, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Get back on the greens, all right?
Yeah, I need that. I need to get off the tee first.
The man can drive a hell out of a marshmallow.
Yeah, that's a good thing right there.
Tommy Greene joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line.